Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your October 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Sagittarius. And before we get started, I just want you to know that I am going to be doing something special for October on my podcast and on my Instagram. I'm going to be doing a month of shadow, hence the black and white spread today. And so if you want to get more of that content, go follow me on Instagram at Onyx Healing. And you are also welcome to check out the podcast, Sunday Messages. Make sure you subscribe to that. And for those of you who are interested in developing your intuition, psychic basics, intuitive basics, I now have Psychic Defense open. So you are welcome to join that if you feel called to. Check out in the description box. There's the link for that. And without further ado, I am going to lay this out and then we will get started. All right, Sagittarius, let's start with your oracle cards for the month. We have Angelic. Okay, so this is in part about faith. So that's a big element of this, but then also calling on angelic beings to support you. Some of you might already work with angels or something like that. Maybe family members who have passed away or people that you were close to. It's kind of like tap into that energy of divine support. Anything in that area is going to be helpful this month. And then we also have be the person you want to fall in love with. Ooh, I like that. So really leading with how do you want to be seen? How would you want to be treated? How would you want to be received? And who do you feel really connected to? What makes you feel good when you're around somebody? And just tap into that this month because it's going to help you perhaps make new connections. We'll see what else comes up during this reading. The central energy is the Four of Arrows. It's interesting. There have been some readings where the energy is calming down a lot in October. So you seem to have that energy of things that may have been really chaotic or really busy, or, you know, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you know, we're winding down from summer where there's a lot of buzzing energy. And so this is shifting gears into going within, being introspective, being within your home, if that makes sense. And so you might find that there's a real need for a slower pace. Let's see what else is coming up. We have the Nine of Vessels, make a wish. This is the dreams coming true, wishes fulfilled, but part of that means you might need to take a break, pull your energy back. You know, it becomes a real challenge when you're thrusting so much energy at a situation that it kind of snuffs it out and it doesn't have any room to breathe. And so that's also why I'm getting the Four of Arrows is really important. If you want that thing, you kind of have to take action but let it breathe at the same time. So however that's working for you, trust you're going to get where you need to, trust that you're going to get where you're wanting. Just don't fixate on how it needs to happen or what the steps need to be, because that you can call on angelic support to help guide you. Now, what you have shifting out is the Nine of Branches. Yep, this is that busyness I was referring to, the intensity, the fire, the raring to go energy of the Nine of Wands. And it's shifting into intention setting, the energetics, while staying within yourself. And that's going to be the next step, because if you were taking a whole bunch of action, it's kind of like there was some expansion here and now there's a little bit of contraction, and then there's going to be expansion and then there's contraction. That's just the natural flow of these cycles. Now the oncoming energy for you is the Eight of Vessels. So you might have a lot of things come to the surface and you'll be shifting your perspective around what exactly you're thinking about a situation or the direction that you want to go. I'm going to clarify this card just to get a bit more context. We have the Hanged Man. Maybe it's about you're catching your own habits and behaviors regarding what you're thinking about something or the energy you're bringing into something. And the Eight of Vessels is to have that transformation in perception. And it seems to be regarding consistency. So whether that be habits, thought forms, whatever you have going on, there's some rearranging happening. In your material world, we have the world. So cycles coming to an end. Maybe there was some friction going on or some frantic energy or something that was unresolved. The world indicates resolution to that. And I see this as the landscape becoming more clear as you zoom out, as you keep moving in this direction. So trust the things that you're seeing. I'm just getting that this is one of those times when you're going to want to zoom out as much as you can, not focus in on one individual situation that's not going to help or make things feel easier. So just watch yourself kind of zoom out from that perspective. And also, if you have a tiny thing that's happening, but because in the moment it feels like it's really massive and it's a struggle, you need to zoom out a bit more, because you can see this card is not just showing one fragment, it's really zoomed out on all fronts. And so you can take the same approach to anything regarding material needs or support in the physical. You need to take a new perspective, right? Ask yourself, is this going to matter in a month? Is this something that really can't be resolved? Is this something that I can recruit more support around? Is there something that's in the process of resolution? Check in with what's really happening there. And then your connections and relationships, we have the Maiden of Vessels. Okay, so watch for overgiving. That's my one word of caution here, because it's like, the outpouring of energy from that vessel. It's very easy when this card comes up to overgive to others, and so you want to check yourself and where your energy is going towards other people. And then to clarify that, we have the Five of Arrows. Yep, so there might be some things that you just need to leave behind, or some expectations of yourself even that may not be gelling with your current situation. So if you're feeding a bunch of relationships or even one relationship too much energy, you're going to want to reel that in. Go listen to my podcast episode on boundaries. That is really, really helpful for the energetics of what's happening, because that's more my wheelhouse, obviously. So the Maiden of Vessels is just giving you kind of a warning, like, yes, we want to share energy, and that's an important part of connections. Just to make sure you're keeping a close eye on the quantity of that. This is what's growing and evolving for you. We have the Tower. Okay, so things that maybe you felt like weren't working or weren't checking out or didn't feel good or you felt like were burning to the ground. The Tower is showing you that that's evolving. That's the thing that's changing and shifting. And I also see that as kind of a counterpart to the World, which is, the destructive or breakdown, breakthrough energy of the Tower. This is something that has already happened. So the good news is, because this is in the evolution position, it's not oncoming. This is something you've already been dealing with. And I just see this as you getting into the space where you're no longer wrestling with yourself. Instead, you're going with the flow. You're watching things progress naturally. There's a lot of loose ends being tied up, and then you have a fresh perspective to boot. So that's what the Eight of Vessels is highlighting here, is you're going to end up changing your mind about the things that you're seeing in this moment. Allow that to come before you jump to conclusions. Any Tower energy you were dealing with before is going to be resolved. Just be patient with yourself. And then this is advice for you. We have the Mage of Arrows. Trust your ideas and trust the information that comes through in terms of, oh, hey, maybe I should do this thing, or maybe I should pursue this project. If you're getting insights like that, because it's so interesting, this has been another theme that's coming up for a lot of people. It's the exploration of simply doing what you think you should do is going to open doors. So there's kind of this blend of set your intention and get your energy settled with that Four of Arrows. And then also pay close attention to what you're feeling like, oh, I should do blah, blah, blah. That idea, that spark that you have showing up, it's worth exploring. But it doesn't mean that necessarily this is the month to dump every ounce of energy that you have into that. So just be cautious with overgiving. It's something worth pursuing, but make sure you're keeping a close eye on all the plates that are spinning for those of you who have a lot going on right now. Let's move into the timeline. First, second, third, and fourth quarter. The first quarter of October we have is the Empress. So lay back and receive. That's why you have the Four of Arrows as the central energy. You might find that things actually resolve faster if you pull your energy back rather than pushing it out. So this is yin energy. Sometimes if you take your foot off the gas pedal, things naturally settle into place without you efforting. Second quarter, we have the Two of Moons. This is the Two of Cups. So those connections that you have in your space are important. It's kind of pointing back to the Maiden of Vessels as far as don't overfunction with that. Watch yourself on that. The Two of Cups is really about reflection within yourself, and also that's going to be seen in the people that you surround yourself with, in the feedback that you're getting reflected from others. All of that is going to paint a picture for what your internal state is communicating to you and what's really going on there. In a nutshell, during this second quarter, I would just pay close attention to the quality of people that you have coming into your life, as well as the stuff that you have going on that's painting a picture for you. Quarter three, we have the Five of Knives. The Five of Knives is the Five of Swords. Where else did we have that? Oh, we had that up here. Boundaries are going to be important. Energetic boundaries, boundaries with people, boundaries with yourself. You know, are you committed to some semblance of routine within your own life? I think that would be extraordinarily helpful for those of you who might be feeling a bit chaotic, if any of that is coming up. Because remember, the energy is shifting this month. And so because of that, you kind of want to set appropriate constraints within yourself and around you so it can be conducive to you building what you want to build. And then quarter four, wrapping up the month, we have the Seven of Stones. This is about scattering your energy, but in terms of exploration. So if you have a lot going on, remember, it doesn't mean you need to pursue everything all at the same time, but perhaps you have a few things that are brewing by the end of October, and then you might be ready to go in November. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that really shows up for you. But trust that the areas that you do put your energy are going to, they're going to pay off. It's all about density and focus. How much of what are you putting where? There's a lot of those questions that come up anytime you're scattering energy. It's not a bad approach, it's just that you need to do it with the right intention. So if you have a lot going on, I would really focus on what do you want to have achieved first. Like, create a list of kind of what's going to require the most energy in order to make happen, what's easy, and then what order would you want to see it arrive. Let's do a 3-card pick. So you are welcome to ask a question, ask for guidance or clarity. I am going to lay these out. You can take a deep breath into the diaphragm. Okay, card number 1, we have Justice. Take a level-headed approach. You know, we kind of want to weigh the pros and cons. You want to see both sides of the coin. You want to weigh everything out before you make a decision. So perhaps slow down your decision making, you know, find your center, find your grounded nature first before proceeding. Card number 2, we have the 7 of Wands. Allow your light to shine. It's just kind of like you're stepping out of the weeds and really getting into a place where your vibrancy is showing, but you kind of have to embody it. You have to show up with it. You have to lead with that part of yourself. So recruit help if you need, but this is kind of reflecting be the person you want to fall in love with, and focus your energy on who do you want to be as you're showing up in the world, and that's the game changer for you in the situation, or just as general advice. Card number 3, we have the 7 of Pentacles. It is a-okay if you want to dabble in different areas. It's the same card that you had up here. And don't worry about needing to have one thing figured out. It's like you can have a few things brewing at the same time. It's okay if that's what's happening. And then you can check in with your body and feel into what's right for you. Where do you want to put more of your energy? Where do you want to put less of your energy? It's all about checking in as you go. That's what this entire process is. So if you have a lot going on, just refine as you experiment. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you more than you could possibly know. And don't forget, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, you know I'm always available to you. So you can go to onyxhealing.com to check out how to do that. Don't forget to take a look at the meditations that I have available. All of the proceeds go to some nonprofits that I've picked out. And if you'd like to take Psychic Defense, the link is in the description box. All of the decks that I've used today are in the description box. And I can't wait to see you on Instagram if you head over to Onyx Healing, and we'll be doing a month of shadow and all sorts of good stuff when it comes to that. So all of the links to everything I've mentioned, like the podcast and the meditations and Psychic Defense, everything is in the description box, and I will see you next time. Have a beautiful October, everybody. Bye-bye.